ABC is bringing back Jimmy Kimmel Live. We told you that last night, but the place where we were kind of still up in the air was whether or not Sinclair and Nexstar would hold the line, and it turns out they are. So that is the update tonight. Then the internet has totally exploded since President Trump's announcement on Tylenol yesterday and usage during pregnancy. I am diving into the good, bad, and the retarded responses to it. Then Newsmax is being funded by the Israeli Foreign Ministry. And yes, it is impacting their content and their coverage. I have exclusive internal emails that will show just how desperate they are to make good on that deal that they made. Then a young girl who was shot in the head at Assumption Catholic School in Minnesota is making a miraculous recovery. We're going to have a message from her parents. Then I've got a video I know you will love in scrolling time. All that and so much more on this episode of Nightly Scroll. All right, so the update from last night. Remember, we told you that Jimmy Kimmel Live was coming back to the airwaves. ABC, Disney, they put out a statement saying they've been having some long talks with Jimmy Kimmel, and he's going to come back to the airwaves tonight. So I guess we have that to look forward to tomorrow when we cover whatever BS he decides to say. We predicted last night that he would probably, really stick it to Trump and, he would make this his kind of free speech rallying cry, but we shall see. But the question last night was, will Sinclair or won't Sinclair, will Nexstar, won't Nexstar agree to carry the show on their platforms? And 7:15 or 7:16 last night, so just a few minutes after we got off the air, Sinclair posted this on X saying, beginning Tuesday night, so tonight, Sinclair will be preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live across our ABC affiliate stations and replacing it with news programming. Discussions with ABC are ongoing as we evaluate the show's potential return. So again, not saying that they're never going to bring back Jimmy Kimmel, but you may remember that Sinclair was the one that said we're hoping that Jimmy Kimmel makes a statement, an apology, maybe a donation to Turning Point USA. I don't think that Jimmy Kimmel will go that far. I don't think that he will donate to TPUSA like a lot of other people have done, but I don't think that he will do that. I think his head's a little too big, and he's going to use this as it's just going to fuel his TDS a little bit more. But Nexstar also said this in a statement. We made a decision last week to preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live following what ABC referred to as Kimmel's ill-timed and insensitive comments at a critical time in our national discourse. We stand by that decision, pending assurance that all parties are committed to fostering an environment of respectful, constructive dialogue in the markets we serve. In the meantime, we note that Jimmy Kimmel Live will be available nationwide on multiple Disney-owned streaming products, while our stations will focus on continuing to produce local news and other programming relevant to their respective markets. So they have made their decisions known. They have made their stances known. And you know what that means? If Nexstar and Sinclair are not carrying Jimmy Kimmel Live on their platforms, you know what that means for his ratings, Andy?
Tank.
It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good, which I think, to continue the conversation from last night's show, I think that maybe in a little bit when people stop caring about Jimmy Kimmel Live and Stephen Colbert and all of these people, they make a big stink and then people forget. And I think money talks, right? This is why Stephen Colbert is being canceled, because his show was losing $50 million and they were hiring 200 staffers. I mean, every business has a bottom line. They've got to do math problems. And if a show is not delivering, they have every right to cancel it, suspend someone from saying something stupid, and take them off the air if they're not making money. So it doesn't really matter what celebrities are doing, but they did sign on to an open letter. And, I don't know if that was what made Disney cave and bring Jimmy Kimmel back, but I would like to introduce you to the virtue signaling final boss. His name is Noah Centineo. He is an actor. What was he in? All the Girls I Loved Before? Is that the movie that he was in? Or the Noah Centineo movies? I think he was in To All the Boys.
This is a movie you've actually watched?
To All the Boys I Loved Before, I think is the series that he was in. But he's been in a lot, he's kind of like a heartthrob type actor. And, if you're above the age of 25, you probably don't know who he is. He's just like not like a teeny bopper actor, but he's in these movies that, older adults probably haven't seen. Anyway, he posted this on his Instagram story, and it caught him a lot of flack because he posted a screenshot of him canceling his Disney Plus subscription in the wake of Jimmy Kimmel's suspension, of course, temporary suspension. And it says this, okay, your subscription has been canceled. But if you read the fine print underneath that, it says, we've sent a confirmation to your email on file. You may continue to watch Disney Plus until September 18th, 2026. So people were, internet sleuths were figuring out that he had essentially just bought Disney Plus to cancel it so that he could get the screenshot of him saying that he canceled this in a boycott of Disney Plus, which isn't really how it works because you just gave them money, really. He didn't really show them anything. He just paid them for a year's worth of Disney Plus.
So he signed up.
In protest of Disney Plus.
So he signed up and immediately quit.
Yes.
And then posted the screenshot.
Yes, but he's a good person, right? He did the right thing. He had to show all of his liberal followers that he is a good guy and he was on the good side. That's what they do. And if you pull that up again, I think he said something like save money today. That's the little caption that he added on there. He is not saving money today. He is wasting money. But I guess this works for him because if he wanted Jimmy Kimmel to come back so bad, he is back and you can watch Jimmy Kimmel on Disney streaming platforms. So I guess he can watch that.
Confession, I did that one time trying to watch episodes of Yellowstone on Paramount Plus. So I wasn't virtue signaling to, a goober like Kimmel, but...
You bought it to cancel it?
I bought it, and then immediately canceled it.
Why?
Because I would not, because you get a grace period if you cancel it. I mean, you've bought a month regardless. And so...
Oh, that's different.
Yeah. Well,
no, that's way different, Andy.
This is a well-known tactic here.
Yes, no. But he canceled it in response to Jimmy Kimmel's suspension, thinking that he was showing them, I'm going to cancel my subscription. He never had a subscription. In reality, all he needed to do was say, I've never even had Disney Plus. I'm glad I never gave him a dime. I mean, he could have just leaned into that. But
he could have just tweeted that.
Clearly not very smart. But anyway, in this whole censorship, free speech conversation, Google is at the forefront. Alphabet, their parent company, is in charge of Google and also YouTube. And Jim Jordan of Ohio, he posted this on X saying that part of their oversight efforts, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off of YouTube due to political speech violations and to return to the platform. But that's not all. If you could click on the second one up there, because I want to read the thing on COVID-19. Please hold. Someone in the chat says Disney is gay. No problem. TBD. Maybe I can read it on my phone. Next one. Yeah, this one. Exactly. COVID-19 pandemic was an unprecedented time in which online platforms made decisions about how to best balance freedom of expression, et cetera, et cetera. Biden administration officials, including White House officials, I can't read this whole thing, but because it's cut off, but you get the gist. Okay, here we go. Senior Biden administration officials, including White House officials, conducted repeated and sustained outreach to Alphabet and pressed the company regarding certain user-generated content related to the COVID-19 pandemic that did not violate its policies. While the company continued to develop and enforce its policies independently, Biden administration officials continued to press the company to remove non-violative user-generated content. So it says, we grappled with these decisions, but ultimately the President Biden created a political atmosphere that sought to influence the actions of platforms based on their concerns regarding misinformation. But of course, the Biden administration was in charge of what was real and what was not, what was fake news, what was real news. They created the misinformation board, right? But they wanted to be the arbiters of truth. And we know that they already did this to Meta and to Mark Zuckerberg. So Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter 1.0 were all compromised. Basically, almost every single social media platform in this country that Americans use, where Americans feel like they are entitled to free speech because it's, protected under the First Amendment. But all of these social media platforms were being pressured by our current administration, the Biden administration that was back then. And they all bent the knee to the Biden administration, which is embarrassing. And maybe it had to do more with money than government pressure. But it's all still embarrassing that you can head up a social media platform in the United States of America and censor people at all. It's even worse that the government was behind it. That's propaganda. Now, the Trump that is in office, they get to come out and say, oh, well, that was so scary when Biden was in office. They were bullies and they told us what to do. And well, now that Trump's in office, we can do the right thing. I would not be so quick to say, oh, this is a win for free speech, and to, accept the apologies of Meta and Google and YouTube. Their standards change like the wind. They're spineless cowards. Trump may be in office right now, and maybe they're doing the right thing right now because President Trump is forcing them to, or they feel allowed to come out and do the right thing under this political climate. But they didn't feel comfortable under the Biden administration. So what does that mean the next time a Democrat's in office? The next time a Democrat is in office, are they going to decide, well, this is hate speech and this speech is okay and this is allowed and this is not and this is true and this is false? And then these same social media platforms are going to just cave. I'm not going to forgive and forget the COVID censorship lunacy. These are not free speech platforms. They are censorship and shadow ban platforms. The only platform I can say doesn't censor people is Rumble, which is why, I love TikTok. As you all know, I scroll on TikTok for an inordinate amount of time, and I share these videos that I find funny and interesting with you all at the end of the show. And, people are saying that this is a win, that TikTok is going to be controlled by people in the United States. Have you seen what social media platforms in the United States do to people in the United States? I don't trust them. As if it means that, conservatives won't be censored and nobody will be exposed to propaganda of any kind. I don't trust that. You have to be dumb, stupid, or slow to believe that. But of course, the Biden administration, the Biden-Harris administration, they were stepping on the necks of all these social media platforms and CEOs. But Kamala Harris, of course, she's on a book tour, and she called Trump the dictator. Watch this.
A tyrant.
A tyrant.
We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now, Donald Trump. And these titans of industry are not speaking up.
Imagine if these titans of industry spoke up when the Biden administration was bullying them. Wouldn't that have been lovely? But even CNN was admitting that Kamala Harris is not as popular as she once was. Watch.
I would just say that if you want a messenger to go against Donald Trump, you can do far better as Democrats than Kamala Harris. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look at her net favorable ratings nationwide. Back in October of 2024, she was at -5 points. Not exactly great, but pretty close to the zero mark, right? Pretty close to even. But now, down under she goes. She's at -13 points. That's an 8-point drop. Since the general election, among the overall electorate, she is not well liked at this particular point. The American people, they don't want this. They don't want her. And get this, she's 37 points underwater with independents. If you can't win independents, you can't win the election. And the bottom line is, with those in the center of the electorate, those who are the most up for grabs, she is way, way, way underwater. She is definitely swimming with the fishes.
So,
swimming with the fishes. You heard that from Harry Enton on CNN. Minus 13 overall. And 37 points under with independents, meaning she is not electable by any means, under any circumstances.
We keep talking about how bad this is. Like, it's so, like, I don't know what she's going to do, but like people are distancing, especially after this book, distancing self from her. There's no way she's going to raise any substantial amount of money.
No.
Like, she's done.
She's done.
Move up to Washington State or to Vermont and YOLO.
Well, what she's going to do now is she's going to give speeches. She's going to endorse certain Democrat candidates. And I think a lot of Democrat candidates would probably feel like her endorsement is the kiss of death.
No one cares about her endorsement. You're totally correct.
Most of these Democrat candidates are in the future aren't even going to want Kamala Harris's endorsement. She did also endorse Zohran Mamdani for mayor in New York City. It was kind of like a half-assed endorsement, but she said, well, he seems like the Democrat nominee. And, you know, for that reason, I think he should be the guy, which is, you know, it's not even like a full-throated endorsement. But, you know, imagine being this unpopular and trying to sell a book about the time when you were just like a tiny bit less unpopular than you are now. It's a bad market.
I really suck now, but back when I used to suck
a little less, I wrote a book about it. Oof, I wouldn't want to be that publisher. I wouldn't want to be that PR agent. I wouldn't want to be Kamala Harris. Not today, not ever. Alrighty, we got to get into this Tylenol stuff. I told you about the announcement yesterday that President made. He teased it during Charlie Kirk's memorial service. They came out yesterday. He and HHS Secretary RFK Jr. said that they don't recommend Tylenol for pregnant women. They didn't say that you can't take it. They just said they don't recommend it. And if you have to take it sparingly. But this is how the Autism Science Foundation responded. This is the statement that they put out, and they are claiming that President Trump is blaming moms for this. You know, they said this, we're unsure why this announcement came today and how the conclusions were drawn. They're saying that Trump talked about, you know, how he thinks and feels about this, but they're saying that, he's saying to tough it out, which they're saying is anti-woman and anti-mom. And they said that it's your fault. They're saying that President Trump is blaming moms for autism. If you can't take the pain, then, it's your fault if your child has autism, which is completely false, by the way. No one is saying that this is an attack on moms. Moms, if they do feel guilty, what President Trump and RFK Jr. and the HHS, what they're saying is not to blame moms, it's to inform moms in the future so that new moms maybe don't make the same mistakes. Nobody's blaming moms. It is not the mom's fault that doctors have been telling them for years that Tylenol is the safest painkiller option during pregnancy. And that might still be true, by the way. Tylenol might be the safest, but now we know that there might be links to autism. So knowing that, do with that what you will. This is the fault of Big Pharma and medical professionals who are wrapped around Big Pharma's finger. It is not the fault of women and moms. It is just not. And President Trump didn't say to not take it. He said to take it sparingly. I'm missing the controversial part of this statement. But here is how moms online are reacting to this news. This is a mother of a severely autistic child. Listen to this.
Hi friends, most of you guys know I have a nonverbal autistic 5-year-old, Molly. I talk about her a lot, have lots of feelings and thought, love that autism is being talked about more. I will get online or I will see things where people are complaining about them talking about autism being a burden or hard on families, and they get really defensive and they talk about how autistic people can function in society and can do all these things, and I love that. And that is why it is a spectrum. There are autistic kids who are doing all of those things. My experience with autism is significantly on a different side of the spectrum. And if the scratch on my eye can tell any of you that, that came from my 5-year-old daughter because I tried to go in and give her love after having not seen her. I thought it was really interesting in like the press release today when I think he was in charge of like the NIH or something said that found autism is a burden and it is shocking to people. And I have watched physical reactions of people when Molly has banged her head or when she's walked up, this cute little blonde girl who looks so happy and ready to go at life, and she pulls your kid's hair or she bites them for literally no reason at all. And he was very empathetic towards the families, but more than anything, he made a comment about, can you imagine how hard it is for that child? And I think that every day. Do I feel guilt that I took Tylenol when I was pregnant? No, I don't. Because at some point, I did the best with the information that I had at the time.
Right.
If I got pregnant again, would I take Tylenol? I'd probably stay away from it just in case.
See, this is what moms should feel like. Hey, do I feel guilty about the fact that I took Tylenol? No. Because your doctor was telling you that that was the best option. Now that we have new information, would you do it differently this time? A woman with a severely autistic daughter says yes, she would do it differently this time. But then you see women online who hate Trump so much that they are going to take Tylenol to spite him. Watch this. It says, here is me, a pregnant woman, taking Tylenol because I believe in science and not someone who doesn't have a medical background. As if this new information about Tylenol was just pulled out of Trump's rear end and they didn't consult anyone with a medical degree.
No, there's the White House has also posted many links to these studies too that like actually prove that this stuff is legitimate.
Truly, like where do they think that this is coming from? They think it's coming from Trump's rear end. They think it's coming from, this is just like a RFK Jr. anti-vax brainchild. No, they're trying to bring information to the American people that has not been done before. Because this is not something that people are willing to touch because they're not willing to touch big pharma. That stops now. And so many people are willing to blindly trust doctors, the government under the Biden administration, but then they won't trust the science now because of politics. So much so that more medical groups and nonprofits have come out to say that they stand against the HHS's recommendation defending acetaminophen and vaccines. This one is from the American Academy of Pediatrics. They say this: there is no single root cause of autism, and there is no single medication that will give every autistic child or adult what they need. And that is according to the American Academy of Pediatrics president, Dr. Susan Cressley. Correct. There is no single root cause of autism that we know of. And there is no single medication that can treat it. No one is saying that Tylenol during pregnancy is the only cause of autism. We're now finding out some links between Tylenol and vaccines that can maybe make people more susceptible. But nobody is saying that even vaccines are the only cause of autism. We're just figuring out that both of these things can potentially impact young children. And why wouldn't we heed these warnings just in case? And no, there is not just one medication they can sell you. There are dozens and hundreds. And please continue to buy what they are selling. That's what they are saying. That's what they're saying right there. Now, the American Association of People with Disabilities, they said this, which was shocking to me. Tylenol doesn't cause autism, which I don't know how they know that. I don't know how they can say that. Maybe they're citing older information and ignoring the newer information because they don't trust who the newer information is coming from. But then if you swipe, they also say this: autism doesn't need to be cured. Why not? Why not? I mean, yeah, they're right. Autism doesn't need to be cured. But I think people who are barely on the spectrum want something to brag about. They want another notch on their victimhood belt. Because parents who have severely autistic children are probably curious about how this happened to their child and how other families can prevent this same kind of life if possible, because it is hard. And nobody wants to see children suffer if they don't have to. So ask yourself, who benefits when we are sick forever? Is it the autism community? No. Is it sick people? No. But big pharma and doctors might benefit. The medical establishment might benefit. And this is what I thought interesting. I thought this was interesting as well. Our very own government, the CDC, back in 2022, said that there's no such thing as autism prevalence by geographic location. So, a lot of people are saying that autism, the rates of autism are higher in certain areas like the United States. So this is because, or they're saying this is because, we test more for it. So therefore it's higher here, and that's the only reason. So this was based in, this map is from 2022, but you can see the areas that are highest in autism is California, Arizona, Minnesota, Washington, Missouri, I think that is, Georgia, Pennsylvania. It's a little small. I do know my maps and my states. We're teasing something later in the show. I do know my states. It's just a little small. Okay. Tennessee, Arkansas, Indiana, Maryland, Texas is a little less. But, these are the states, Utah, where there is a higher amount of autism prevalence. But if you scroll up or you scroll down to the number 2, it'll say reported prevalence varies by geographic location. This is what the CDC said in 2022. Autism spectrum disorder prevalence varies widely across geographic areas. Currently, no research has shown that living in certain communities increases the chance that a child will have ASD. Geographic variation could, however, be related to differences in how children with ASD are identified or served in their local communities and how this information is collected and reported. Now, they're saying that there's just no way that certain areas of the United States can have a higher level of autism based on, I don't know, drugs that you take or food that you eat or something in your environment, metabolic disorders, like nothing. They're saying that doesn't exist. But have you seen the documentary, or have you heard of Blue Zones? Have you guys heard of Blue Zones? And you've seen that Netflix did a documentary, but it's fascinating. These blue zones are areas of the world, and they're all over the world, but people in these zones live to be 100. And it's common to live to 100 or close to it, or even beyond 100. And people started figuring out why that is. And it has to do with their environment. It has to do with how active they are. They go into a location in Sicily and people are eating foods that are very high in antioxidants or whatever. They don't have cancer. They don't have all these other issues that we deal with here. So if blue zones exist, wouldn't the opposite also exist? And why wouldn't the CDC want to admit that? I'm just asking. If blue zones exist, if there are areas that people live differently, they eat differently, and they're healthier, why wouldn't the opposite exist? Zones that people are more sick, depending on their environment, how sedentary their lifestyle is. If one exists, I'm assuming the opposite would also exist. And people say that, it's just because we test for it, we diagnose it, and that's probably partly true, but why would we not investigate this? This is not conspiratorial to say that our government wants us to be sick, and they don't want to investigate it. They don't want us to know. They just want to keep us silent. They want to keep us vaccinated and boosted, and they want to keep us reliant on their money-making machine. That is it. Now, I want to tell you quickly, this is a very nice story. It's a good news coming out of very bad news. So, of course, on August 27th, there was a horrific school shooting at Assumption Catholic School in Minnesota. And Sophia Forchus was one of the girls who was shot by that armed gunman, that trans armed gunman. And 2 children, unfortunately, were killed that day, an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. But 21 other people were injured, including 18 children. And Sophia is one of the children who was shot. She was shot in the left temporal lobe in her brain, and the bullet remained lodged in her right, I literally cannot pronounce that, sorry, but in the right side of her brain. And her doctor, the chief of neurosurgery, said that, this is something that you'd be very lucky to overcome. And if you overcome it, there might be a long road ahead. You can assume that getting shot in your brain and having the bullet lodged in areas of your brain that control your speech and your movement and your memory and all this stuff can have lasting effects on this little girl's life. But here is a statement that the parents put out, and I wanted to share this, just a portion of it with you because I thought it was very, very sweet. They said this: "Your prayers have been powerful. Sophia surviving this horrific attack is a miracle. Her healing progress is nothing short of miraculous, an undeniable testament to the mercy and intervention of our Lord Jesus Christ. Each day, we uncover new revelations of moments and circumstances that kept her alive and made her recovery possible. There are simply too many to be dismissed as coincidence. God has heard our prayers and wrapped Sophia in his healing embrace. We're thrilled to share that Sophia continues to make a steady progress, showing promising signs of neurological recovery. Her doctors remain cautiously optimistic, and her exceptional medical team is preparing for her transition this week from acute care to an inpatient rehabilitation program. Though she has a long journey ahead filled with extensive therapy, her resilience continues to inspire hope at every step." Wow. We've been talking so much this week about the power of prayer and how so many people in this country have been awoken to their faith. Maybe people that were kind of lost in their faith. They have found faith again. They've opened their Bible. They're bought a Bible for the first time. They went to church for the first time, and they went to the church for the first time in years. And if you're one of those people, or if you are a religious person or a spiritual person, a prayerful person, I would say to keep Sophia in your prayers because she has a long way to go. But I think this is a testament to the power of prayer. So I hope that she gets better, and she will certainly be in my prayers. Now, I want to talk now about my former employer. And I don't have really negative things to say about Newsmax. I had a wonderful time working there. But I follow Newsmax on Instagram, and I've been noticing something that they've been posting, and I want to talk about it. And I want to bring it to your attention because it caught mine. And I thought it was a little weird. And I'm thinking that people in the chat are probably going to agree with me. So Newsmax has been propping up Israel in posts that are paid for by the Israeli Foreign Ministry. And if you think it sounds like propaganda, wait till you see it. Watch this.
Israeli defense officials are calling it a major breakthrough in their efforts to protect against both internal and external threats. The rail robot moves along a fixed track and can operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week without stopping to recharge. Officials say it was primarily designed to guard borders, bases, and prisons. The robot's tested well against a range of simulated threats. Israel has unveiled a new Iron Beam laser defense that is fully combat ready. Iron Beam fires at the speed of light, knocking down rockets, mortars, and drones for just pennies a shot, a fraction of the $50,000 cost of interceptor missiles. The innovation is the world's first fully operational laser interceptor, a potential game changer on the battlefield. An Israeli breakthrough could change the game in public safety worldwide. Scannery has invented an AI-powered weapons scanner, which was created by a former Iron Dome radar engineer. Using advanced radar and smart software, it can screen 25,000 people an hour in stadiums, airports, and transit hubs. That means no lines or metal detectors.
Look at these military advancements and technological advancements in Israel paid for by Israel. Literally, on these social media posts, it is said that it is a partnership with the Israeli Foreign Ministry. The comments on these social media posts have been turned off, by the way. So you know what that means. Newsmax knows that this is going to bring some critique, some criticisms, and they know that. So they turned the comments off on the post so that they wouldn't hear it. But it's not just on social media. This heavy Israel push is apparently part of a larger content plan across both Newsmax platforms. They have the Newsmax cable network, and then they have a newer N2 cable network. And I've obtained exclusive internal emails that show just how dire this content is to staffers there. So here's the first internal email. It says this: Israel 90-second updates. That's the subject of the email. Beginning tomorrow, Wednesday, September 17th. This was obviously from last week. An approximately 90-second Israel update, which needs to air 5 times per day from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on both N1 and N2. Run adjacent to a commercial pod. It is critical to flag to Seth if an airing is going to be preempted ASAP so we can determine what to do. They are going to air this at 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1:30 p.m., and 3 p.m. Now, if we could go to this next internal email, it says this: N2 Israel updates. N2 has only aired a total of 9 Israel updates Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I mean, 9 is a lot if you ask me, but that's not enough. We need to have 40 airings of this by the end of the week. They want an Israel overload over there. And the email continues. It says, I'm not sure who to email from N2, but this needs to run 7 times tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, and then 6 times on Friday. That should get us to 42 or 43, but that would leave us wiggle room.
Got to pump those numbers up.
All Israel all the time. Here's the last email that I have for you. Please run the latest Israel update once an hour in all shows up to 6 p.m. today through Friday. So again, they've changed this content plan. It was supposed to air until 3 p.m. Now they got to get all these airings in, so they've got to extend it. So now the 4 p.m., the 5 p.m., the 6 p.m. show also has to air it so they can get their numbers up to please Israel. And it says, this is a must. It is imperative that you let me know if your show was unable to do it and why. If you know Trump is going to blow out some or most of your show, put the update in the part of the show you know you will have. Don't bury it so it gets blown out. Please see me if you have any questions. So basically, if President Trump is speaking in your hour, and I'm saying this as a former news producer, sometimes, shit happens and President Trump takes a speech or someone else in the administration is speaking. And as a network, you take it when the president is speaking. They are literally saying, do not let Trump preempt this Israel message paid for by the Israeli Foreign Ministry. Wow. I am just a little shocked. I've heard about payments from Israel and influence here and there, but I find it disheartening that the Israeli Foreign Ministry is certainly paying a conservative news network in America to promote their achievements, military achievements, and to prop them up and to make them look good. We shouldn't have to do that. American news platforms should be able to say no. We'll find fundraising elsewhere. We'll find money elsewhere. And so I'm disappointed in this Israel update. I think they're also a little ashamed by the fact that they've turned the comments off. And I'm sure they won't be addressing this because they're taking a check. And I think that's, it's interesting. So take that information and do with it what you will. But I'm just here to tell you that I will not be taking money from any foreign governments, and I'm just going to tell you whatever I'm feeling, and nobody's telling me what to say. I'm going to tell you that that is the truth, and that will always be the truth. So thank goodness for the new media. Am I right?
Totally.
Am I right? Yeah.
Let's see this segue right here. I'm waiting on it.
There's really no good way to segue from
Just give it a try. Come on.
what I was just talking about, shitty coverage. This, let's throw up this headline. Teacher assistant charged after allegedly using poop spray at high school. I saw this headline and, it stopped my scroll, if you will. And I thought, I have to click on this and I have to find out more. And this is a 32-year-old teaching assistant at West Florence High School. And where is that? It's got to be Florence, South Carolina. It's Florence, South Carolina here. So this 32-year-old teacher's assistant there at a high school allegedly sprayed an odor designed to imitate fecal matter while at school multiple times. This is the end of August to the end of September here.
Isn't that the Myrtle Beach area? So that's brutally hot. I mean, so that's going to contribute to this situation.
It is hot in South Carolina. Maybe not as hot as it is here, but either way, I don't think a poop smell, like a stink bomb, is preferable in any heat, right? Doesn't matter what the temperature is. I think the poop smell is going to be bad regardless. So according to the Florence County Sheriff's Office, he was spraying this multiple times throughout the day for over a week, well over a week, almost a whole month.
How many cans does this guy have?
He's got he got cans of whoop ass, and he is not afraid to use them. And so basically, this alleged use of the spray was acquired online. This is according to authorities. The sheriff's office says this caused a disruption at the school. And not only that, unfortunately, it required children to seek medical attention. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at kids needing medical attention. But it required children to seek medical attention for respiratory issues. That is one hell of a stink bomb.
Was that a 911 call, or did they just get like the school nurse?
I think when multiple children in school have to go to the nurse or go get treated for medical issues, I think you start to put two and two together and you start trying to figure out what's happening. It's got to be something in the environment. I don't know how they figured out it was him.
There was a generation in this country that would think that this guy is a legend. Who did
If this happened in the 90s, he would not be going to jail. I'm just saying, people used to bring stink bombs to school all the time.
Well, if this guy had done this, if he was a teacher's assistant when I was in high school, his photo would be in the trophy case.
Kids are built different now. Like 90s kids wouldn't have any issues breathing in a stink bomb and going back to class.
I mean, I don't want kids to have respiratory infections.
No, me neither. I'm just
Certainly
saying.
not. But I'm just saying my experience would be like this guy would be full on celebrated when I was in high school.
Same. Especially it's a teacher. He's a teacher's assistant. But
give him tenure.
Not only were children having to get medical treatment for this, the high school also had to spend $55,000 for inspection and damages to its air conditioning system. So I think he was putting this in the AC system. So basically no one was safe. The poop air was being circulated everywhere.
Even more of a legend. I mean, there's a script somewhere being written about this guy.
Well, he is being charged with disturbing schools and malicious injury to property, and he is being held at the local jail while he awaits bond. And authorities say that the situation remains under investigation. Additional charges could be filed. Someone said, come on, these kids are just trying to get out of class. I don't know. People in the chat are agreeing with you, Eddie, that he's a legend.
I'm just telling you, there was once a generation in this country that would celebrate what this guy did. They would have named the high school after this guy. But that is long gone, my friends. That is long gone.
Don't buy your fart spray from China. Most likely has toxins in it. Yeah, I don't know where he got the fart spray, but he got it online. And it was some heavy duty fart spray, poop spray. Anyway, let's go into some scrolling time. All right, this first video is, well, I apologize at first because I know no one's going to really like this, but I think it's hilarious. So Gigi Gorgeous is a trans, I don't know what, a celebrity, like a trans celebrity. And Gigi Gorgeous was on the Outlaw podcast with T.S. Madison, who is also a trans podcast. Again, I don't know who these people are, but T.S. Madison asked Gigi Gorgeous if she could or he could ban anything, what would it be? And this is the response. So basically, if you were a trans teen, you are allowed to steal. Don't let Gavin Newsom hear this. Don't let Tampon Tim hear this. They're gonna run with this.
Permission to ask a question.
Yeah.
What am I looking at?
Two dudes who wear makeup and hair and dresses and heels and who want to steal. They have a proclivity for petty theft.
This is, and which one was the host? The
scarier looking one.
the one with the
mega
one on
deep
the right. Voice.
Yes, bitch.
Yeah. Yes, bitch. I'm gonna avoid this podcast.
I'm also gonna avoid this podcast. But I did scroll by it, so therefore it's in scrolling time. I just thought it was funny that they think that trans teens should be able to steal.
Only makeup.
No rules. Only makeup. Someone said, "Who watches this?" I don't know. Not me, but well, all of us right now. But that's the last of it.
Just for the sake of the chat, that show was 59 minutes long. So like,
they had a lot
what did they talk about for 59 minutes?
I don't know. I scrolled to the end.
I'm not watching it.
I scrolled to the end. So anyway, this next one is a billboard in Tennessee that says, "Fire the CEO." Look at this. Okay, so fire the CEO. This was seen on the highway in Tennessee somewhere. And the fire the CEO, it's in the old Cracker Barrel font, but the new Cracker Barrel logo design. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Long live the Cracker Barrel scandal.
Long live.
It shall be among us for ages.
I'm never going to let this go. But no, here's the thing. So I wanted to ask you this, Andy, because I feel like people in the South have much more of a place in their heart, special place in their heart for Cracker Barrel. I didn't grow up going to Cracker Barrel. I hadn't seen a Cracker Barrel until a work trip. I think we went in, I don't know where we were, but I had never been to a Cracker Barrel before I was maybe 22 years old. I had never seen one. So I'm not really like in this fight. I don't really care. I don't care too much about the old logo, the new logo. I don't care too much. I think the new logo was ugly for sure. I'm glad that they went back. But I wanted to ask you, because this is in Tennessee, where you're from. It says fire the CEO. Do you think people really care about the CEO of a place that they eat at?
Well, I think it had a lot to do with the fact that this whole thing should have never taken place. What they were trying to do is remodel a store, and what they were doing by doing that was getting rid of a mountain culture. Appalachian, don't say Appalachian, it's Appalachian. Don't say that word. Appalachian culture, and like a Smoky Mountain culture that, like, it's Dollywood. Like, this is a big deal to people that are up there. It's a reminder of grandma and grandpa's house, mama and papa's house. Like the front porch, the checkers, the fireplace inside, like the apple butter.
So
like,
here's
don't
what I'm
get
saying.
rid of all of that.
No, and they're
they
not.
screwed that up
Right.
by trying to, and the people spoke.
But do we not have grace in our hearts for a company that faced backlash and boycott, and then they undid it? They listened to their customer base. The customer base said, "We hate the logo and we hate the remodels." And they said, "Bet." We changed the logo back. We heard you. You told us that you didn't like it. We heard you. We're changing the logo back. We're bringing what's-his-face back onto the porch. Don't worry, he's not going anywhere. We're changing the remodels. We're going to restore everything to how it was before. We heard you. We're listening. People are saying fire the CEO. The CEO that attempted to change and update the restaurant and then listened to the customers and ultimately did what the customers wanted.
I don't want to, the calling for people jobs things, personally, I hate that. But like the thing is, you're not in touch. You're not that much in touch with the company if you were willing to do that at all, because at the core of it, it's a cultural place to go. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Not even about the food. It's a cultural place. Food's good.
I mean, people in the chat are like mad at the CEO. Someone said they didn't really listen, did they? I think they did, unless
Go Vols.
They want people to they want Cracker Barrel to up the ante and fire this woman, the woman that has literally listened to all of your complaints and
coach me
I
up.
don't like boycotts.
Coach
I don't
me
like
up
cancel
on
culture. I think it's stupid and I think it's lame. So
coach me up on how in touch with her company that she was to even do this initiation of this program. Like,
sure,
that
but I
isn't
think a lot of
representative
companies,
of what Cracker Barrel is at all.
I think a lot of fast food companies and restaurants like Cracker Barrel, I'm just saying fast food places, right? Like McDonald's, Pizza Hut, whatever, they all had a certain look and now they've all been updated, modernized, the logos fresher, cleaner, whatever, whether you like it or not.
There's no more playgrounds at McDonald's.
Whether you like it or not, changes have been made to a lot of restaurants, and a lot of restaurants try to modernize, and people who go to Cracker Barrel did not want the modernization, and then the CEO said, fine, you win. But it's not enough. She has listened to everyone, and she said these people are saying it is not enough. We need you to lose your job. By the way, she's going to go work at another company. So...
And she probably would go work at another company. But when she goes and gets hired by another company, I hope that she truly understands the branding and what it means,
which is important,
to work at that company. And I think that was the big failure here. She jumped
totally
into
important.
something that she should never changed.
I don't really have a dog in the fight. I don't care about Cracker Barrel. But
have you ever been? You've been once?
One time.
You got to go back and get the fried chicken.
That's a lie. I've eaten there once. I ran in to use their restroom another time.
That doesn't count.
Just being honest. All right. I need to show you this video of a University of North Georgia student who is exposing the craziness inside one of her textbooks. Watch this.
I might be getting canceled for this, but I'm kind of pissed off. Anyway, I'm a senior in college and I'm in international public relations, and I was told to read chapter 8 this week of International Public Relations, Negotiating Culture, Identity, and Power. I'm reading, I just opened it up to chapter 8 about 5 minutes ago. I've been sitting here in awe. Chapter 8 is titled Contested Identities Shifting Publics in a Globalized World. I'm going to read you what I just read and where I stopped. I think it's the second sentence, maybe the third.
Listen to this.
Identity may be one of the most contentious words of the new millennium. An internet search produces the following modifiers for identity: corporate, sexual, digital, public, racial, national, brand, and even Christian. A US-based white supremacist group. I'm pissed. So I would just like to say that as a Christian, if you're reading this and you're not a Christian and you're in college, I am not a white supremacist. So can we cancel these authors? Or are we going to cancel me?
Wow. I can't say I'm surprised, but it is very disheartening to see that there are college professors or people who write textbooks that literally are indoctrinating college students to learn that Christians are a white supremacist group in the United States of America. You have to be so stupid to write that down. You have to be stupid to publish that. And you have to be stupid to believe that. Could you imagine writing in a textbook that only white people are Christian? There are Christians all over the globe. It is just wrong. It is plain wrong, and it is anti-white. But they are pushing this narrative, and this is exactly what Charlie Kirk was trying to get ahead of by going to these college campuses and challenging their way of thinking, because they're probably in a classroom and they're probably have their head in a textbook that is saying wild shit like that. That is why what Charlie Kirk was doing was so important. Just insane. But here's another video that shows why the Department of Education is a complete failure. Watch this.
Fun fact, I actually don't know the difference between states and countries. I don't know if I missed that when they were trying to teach me that in elementary.
Brother.
But I always get laughed at. Yesterday in class, they were like, if you've been to another country, where and what was it like? And if you haven't been to one, where do you want to go? So we were talking with our table group. I actually wish I was joking. This is so embarrassing. My turn, I was like, no, I haven't been out of the country, but I really want to go to Hawaii. And everybody starts laughing at me. Is Hawaii not out of the country? I don't know.
She still doesn't know. They made fun of her and she still doesn't know. That means she's really dumb.
Are we, as an overall species, becoming stupider?
Yes. Yes. We are regressing big time.
So you ever heard of the YouTube or like other video content creation technique where you put a typo on the title on purpose to get people to comment?
Engagement.
Hey,
Yeah.
you made a typo, and gets a lot of comments, and then you go up in the algorithm. I think she's just faking it.
Like rage baiting?
She's just rage baiting, yeah.
But why would you want the entire world to think that you're that stupid?
Oh, some people care more about getting attention than looking stupid, I suppose.
That fame would be so short-lived. Like I wouldn't follow someone who's that stupid. I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't either, but I'm just saying that's my theory here.
All right, I've got 2 more quick videos for you. Let's play the Peppa Pig one first. So, as you all know, yesterday I told you that there were Christians on TikTok that believed that the rapture was today. So, that did not happen. We are all here, except this video went viral.
Have you checked on anybody to make sure that like we're not left? How
would you know?
I'm just, I mean, like, we covered this yesterday fast, but like, it didn't happen.
Yeah. Anyway, it didn't happen. We're here. But this video went viral from Oktoberfest, and a Peppa Pig balloon flew up, lost its string, and the Peppa Pig balloon owner let the balloon fly up, and they said that this is part of the rapture. Aw, Peppa Pig. And I like the Bohemian Rhapsody playing in the back. It's just like a very nice. It's not trumpets.
Some Queen happening back there in the background.
It's not trumpets, but it is.
Seems right, I guess.
It is classic. But the comments were just so funny, and I don't have my iPad out here, but I'll read some of them to you quickly. People were saying that she is the only one pure enough to make it. Peppa Pig, she's just a perfect Christian. Bohemian Rhapsody feels biblically accurate. When pigs fly, sayers have been quiet since this dropped. And the concept of no one except Peppa Pig getting raptured is hilarious. Yeah. Why did they take her first? I guess we'll never know. But anyway, I wanted to leave you with a very sweet video. This has gone viral. I saw it just after the show last night. Otherwise, I would have played it yesterday. But our Dan Bongino, our friend, he was at the Charlie Kirk Memorial, and he was stopped by a little girl who wanted to give him one of the little Jesuses. So watch this. Yesterday, a young girl got her wish to meet Dan Bongino. She gifted him a handmade little Jesus. Isn't that sweet? Dan just grabbed her face there, and it was just a very sweet moment with this little girl. and Dan. I think we all miss him, so that was really sweet to see. Anyway, thank you all for joining me tonight on Nightly Scroll. Of course, you can follow me at Hayley Caronia on most social media platforms.